You said a good thing, nothing is impossible. You are living proof of that.
Everything that people say it's impossible, we make it possible in the UAE.
It's not like people are trying to compete naked, for instance, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of that. It's the religion which has to be respected.
It is very crazy, but it just shows how great the world is. Like, everyone wants to help each other. I made it this far, and it's a proud moment for me and for my country as well. Just like a few weeks ago, I met Serena Williams and like the Williams sister, both of them. They just show me that like women empowerment, and Serena just had a baby, so it's like you can do anything literally. If I see her at the rink, I'll probably just be stuck at the side, like just staring.
Why not allow it in the first place? Why it took so many years of debating, of deducting points from skaters?
I'm the first that was here. There's no one else that will be the first ever.
Hello everyone watching and listening to the Raw Take podcast. Unbiased and frank conversations about all things sport. Today, believe it or not, we're not talking about football. Yeah, we're talking about figure skating. I am in the heart of Siberia, the city of Krasnoyarsk, and I have a chance to talk to an absolutely inspirational and unique athlete who changed the world of sport forever. I am delighted to be joined by Zahra Lari, an absolutely unique athlete, and you will know why. If you don't know yet, you'll know why. Thank you so much for joining me today. I mean, I'm overly excited to be talking to you. You revolutionized sport in so many ways. You are the only athlete representing your country here at the Universiade.
Yes.
Are you feeling proud?
Of course, I feel extremely proud.
Do you feel this responsibility on your shoulders? I mean, you are carrying the flag of your nation, your home nation, and you represent it in a sport which, let's be honest, the United Arab Emirates is not really associated with figure skating.
Yeah, I feel like I need to just do my best, and my country is supporting me, and they're not adding any pressure on me either. They just want me to come out here and enjoy, and just to try my best. Just try to get my personal best score and see what happens.
But I understand that your ultimate goal, your ultimate dream, is to represent the UAE at the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's not too far off, right? It's 2022.
Yes.
It's in 3 years now from now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's feasible?
Yeah, I tried for the 2018 Winter Olympics. I was able to go to the qualifications, and I didn't qualify for it, but it just made me work even harder and made me realize that how much I really want it. And nothing is impossible, and I think I have a good shot of trying for the 2022, and we'll see what happens, but I can't think so far ahead. I have to think every competition at a time, because if I just focus on the Olympics, then I'm gonna freak out. So it's better to just focus one competition at a time until the time comes for me to qualify.
Fair enough. You said a good thing, nothing is impossible. You are living proof of that. We'll touch upon that later. I just want to go back to the origins. How did it come to you that you want to be a figure skater? Again, you're living in a country which barely knows that sport, that sport. I've been to the Emirates a couple of times. I've seen Sky Dubai, I think it's called, the snow resort in the middle
Ski
of
Dubai.
Ski Dubai, right?
Yeah.
In the middle of a desert, which is cool, which is unusual. But you grew up in that country and you decided to be a figure skater.
Yeah.
Not a golfer, not a soccer player, not a skater. Why?
It's super simple. UAE always does everything that people say it's impossible. We make it possible in the UAE. So, I watched a movie about figure skating when I was a kid, and I just fell in love with it. And I was very thankful that we already had an ice rink where I live in Abu Dhabi. And so, literally the next day, I watched the movie. I just went to the rink, and the journey started from then. And as I said, nothing is impossible, especially in the UAE. As you know, we went from the desert to having the tallest building in the world. So,
and a beautiful building as well.
Yeah.
I love the Emirates. It's a great place to be in. But growing up with other kids around you, obviously, your country has invested a lot into soccer, football.
Yeah.
Manchester City, living proof of that. Kids around you talking about other sports, and you just tell them, "Hey, I want to be a skater. I don't care." Was that hard? Was that a discrepancy between you and?
Not really. Actually, growing up, I think it's super important to have surrounding with good friends and a good team, and as I was only 12 when I started, but my school was super supportive, and my friends there were extremely supportive and extremely excited. It was the opposite. It wasn't like, oh, like I'm a figure skater. It was like I'm a figure skater. It was such a proud moment, even from the very beginning, because I was doing something unique, and I was just opening up the path for all the women to just show them that you can do anything you want. It doesn't have to be football or soccer or any of the typical sports. You can do something that is different.
But you managed to succeed in that in a big way.
Yeah.
The ISU changed their rules for you,
Yes.
paving way for other women. How did that happen? How was that a big struggle?
Well, it happened when I went to my first competition, which was in Italy in 2012, and I mean, it wasn't a big deal because when I went there, it's the first time ever someone competes while being covered. So it's not that I thought about it, but I wasn't angry, I wasn't mad or anything or upset about it, because it's something, I don't blame them. It's the first time they've ever seen it in this sport, so they just didn't know how to handle it. But after that, they wanted to meet me. I wanted to see and make sure. Their main concern was it would be dangerous for me as a skater. So once they saw it, they realized there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and ever since, no one will be getting any deductions because of it. But even ISU, they're extremely supportive of what I'm doing, and they really as well want me to reach the high levels as well.
But you were saying that you were not mad at them, right? Because, it's an
No.
unprecedented situation in many ways. But I find it hard to understand. You're participating. Your main mission on the ice is to do the beauty, to do the dance.
Yeah.
And yet they deduct a point for something which is important to you, important to your religion, and has nothing to do with actual sport in terms of like points and
Yeah.
artistic level or something like that. And you felt no anger at all about that.
No, I wasn't angry because we do have, in skating, we do have costume deductions. So if your costume is not with the rules, then you do get a costume violation. And with me, it was something that was never seen. As I said, it was never seen, and no one has ever skated with it. So, I mean, it's something, right now, even if I look back, it is something expected from their side because it's the first time. But after that, they immediately wanted to work and see how they can change that as well. So, they were really helpful with that.
So you think that other sports will follow?
Other sports are following. We see now in so many sports and so many things, they're allowing women that are covered to be participating while wearing the hijab. So,
why do you think it took so long for the world to realize that it has to be done? It has to be respected. It's natural, right?
Yeah.
Why not allow it in the first place? Why it took so many years of debating, of deducting points from skaters?
I think maybe just people were scared to try it. I feel like it's always that first person that goes. Once that first person goes, and everyone will follow, and just that first person needs to be brave enough to go and try. And I think that's the main thing. Maybe they were just scared to try it.
But then again, it's not something bizarre, or it's not like people are trying to compete naked, for instance, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact opposite of that. It's the religion which has to be respected, and the outfits. I find it really hard to understand why it took so many years. But now it's done.
Yeah.
You paved the way. Have you had any meetings and conversations with big inspirational athletes?
Of course, just like a few weeks ago, I met Serena Williams and like the Williams sister, both of them. And I meet Michelle Kwan and Evan Lysacek. I'm meeting so many inspirational people, and for me, every single time, whenever they tell me these people want to meet me, it's still surreal. It's like, why do they want to meet me? I'm just a normal person. But for them to be able to, for me to be able to meet them, and they're my inspiration. So for me to just sit with them and talk with them, and for them just to advise me on certain things, is I'm really happy about it.
Does it feel crazy that?
It is very crazy, but it just shows how great the world is. Like, everyone wants to help each other, and everyone is supporting each other. And even when you go to competitions, your competitor is your competitor, but at the same time, they're also supportive, and we're all friends outside the rink and competition.
What's Serena like?
They're amazing. They're super nice, they're super strong, and they're very inspirational. And I only got to meet them for a short time because it was the same day of their match whenever the two sisters were competing against each other for the first time. And yeah, they just show me that like women empowerment, and Serena just had a baby, so it's like you can do anything literally. So they just showed me that anything is possible, and you can, if you love the thing, then you can do it.
Well, you mentioned that they were inspirational to you,
Yeah.
but who was your inspiration in terms of figure skating?
My inspiration, if someone that does not skate anymore, would be Michelle Kwan, but someone that is currently skating, it would be Evgenia Medvedeva from Russia. And yeah, I don't know, I just love her skating, and I like her personality, and she's a very strong person and with a strong personality, and she really knows what she wants, and you can tell that she really loves the sport. So
Are you
her as a
relishing the
skater.
prospect of competing against her one day? On the
If
same rink?
if I see her at the rink, I'll probably just be stuck at the side, like just staring. No, but who knows? Who knows what the future will be? You just have to work hard, and hopefully that day will come.
But you do know that we have this major sort of competition between Medvedeva and Zagitova, the two
Yeah.
powerhouses of Russian figure
Yeah.
skating right now. Although I would say maybe 3 or 4 more names are coming up now
Yeah.
at the roster. What do you think? What do you make of that? Zagitova against Medvedeva. I mean, it looks pretty intense at times.
I mean, it is intense, but competition is always good. It's always good to have someone, even if outside the rink they seem like good friends. And that healthy competition is always really good to have, because without it, it will just be like you won't really work hard, and there's nothing to actually push you. So I think it's actually a good thing. They both push each other.
But in terms of their actual performances,
Yeah.
you're a bigger fan of Medvedeva than Zagitova, right?
I mean, I like them both, but Medvedeva, I don't know, I just like her style more. She's more, I feel like she's really passionate about what she does, and her choreography, like she puts in a lot of passion into her skating.
But you know, we almost had, I mean, I would say borderline scandal here in Russia in terms of how the sports community has been reacting to this, because we have a very talented figure skater, Elizaveta Tuktamышeva.
Yeah.
She's been doing very well the
Yeah.
past season, and yes, she did not make the roster for the World Cup. Do you think it was the right choice to put those names on the list? Medvedeva, Zagitova, and Samadurova.
I don't know. They're all amazing skaters, and I think all of them deserve to be at the Worlds, and they all work really hard, and they're all extremely talented, but the competition here in Russia, especially in figure skating, is super strong. So, I mean, I'm sure they have the reasons why they chose those particular 3 skaters to go to the Worlds, but in my opinion, they're all extremely talented, and they all deserve to be there.
But your trainer is Russian.
Yeah, my coach is
There she
Russian.
is. Is that a different approach to figure skating from Russian specialists than?
The Russians are leading in the sport, and they're really strong technique-wise. So for me, in order for me to be able to reach my goal, which is the Olympics, I need to have a really, really strong and really talented coach, and that will help me reach where I want to be. And that's why I brought in my coach, Alexandra Ivleva, and she's Russian. And I don't know, I mean, we work really well together, and I think she'll be able to help me reach my goal.
So we'll see you in Beijing in 3.5 years.
Yes, you'll see me in Beijing.
You're confident.
Yeah.
How do you see this particular competition you're participating now in Universiade? Is it like a stepping stone towards the bigger things?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, it's not just about winning. It's just being here is already I mean, I made history by being here. And for me to just be at this competition already is a proud moment. I made it this far, and it's a proud moment for me and for my country as well. It's something that's it, I'm the first that was here. There's no one else that will be the first ever from the UAE. So, and I think it's just a step for me to be able to reach, like, we already have a whole set plan in order for me to reach the Olympics, and it's just one of the steps that will help me to be able to reach the Olympics.
So maybe in a couple of years, we have, I think the next Universiade is in Switzerland, and then after that, in 4 years, it's in America.
Yeah.
So maybe in America we'll see a much
big
bigger
team.
delegation from the UAE, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's my goal. My goal is this time it's just me. But always my goal is in the future to have a bigger team and a bigger delegation coming and representing UAE. And I mean, especially since I'm not going to keep doing this sport for the rest of my life. Eventually, I will stop competitive skating, and I really have to make sure that the sport continues, and we have a huge generation of people. And already in UAE, we have 100 females, almost around 100 females participating in the sport. Not everyone is competing international and on the national team, but out of those 100, it's already a huge number. Compared to we just started and it was just me. So those are only UAE nationals. We already have a lot of other foreigners there as well. So I think the sport is already growing, and it's becoming bigger and bigger every year. Even my parents, they opened up the first official club in UAE, and I mean my parents as well my mom helped try to get the ISU membership, and I mean my parents also helped a lot for the sport to grow in the UAE as well, alongside the federation and the country itself. But I mean there's no doubt 100% that in the coming years we'll have a lot more athletes and delegation and a big team.
Middle East is a very interesting place in terms of sports development because obviously not traditionally strong in many types of sport, right? I mean, maybe soccer, golf, things like that. Now, figure skating, thanks to you. There will be a World Cup in 3 years' time from now in Qatar, which is huge. But do you feel this, I made it happen? All those 100 women you mentioned are doing figure skating because I paved the way. Against all, big eyes, what are you doing and why are you doing the sport? Do you realize that you opened that door for many, many athletes?
I mean, for me, every time when I hear that, that's when it hits me, because usually I'm just going out there and doing something that I love, and it doesn't actually click in my head. But once someone reminds me, then I'm like, oh yeah, it's true.
That's me.
It's true. But as I said, I just really love the sport, and I'm really passionate about it. And I mean, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't be able to reach where I am today. But I mean, I really love it, and I guess I did open up the pathway for not just people in figure skating, but in general for my country, the women, and just showing them that they can do anything that they want to do.
What about the boys? Male figure skating in your country, how's it doing?
Well, actually, on the national team, we have one male skater. His name is Zahra, and he's still a basic novice skater, but he is competing in international competitions. And I'm super proud of him because he's doing really well and he's working really hard. And he's also paving the way for all the males in the sport and for them to also do the sport, because everyone always thinks that the sport is only for females, especially. And he's showing that no, the sport is for anyone, like it's for males and females.
Do you follow the male figure skating part? I mean, generally, internationally?
Yes, of course.
Who are your top picks?
Nathan Chen.
All right. What about the Russians? There's a guy, Maxim Kovtun, he's actually represented here at the university.
Yeah, Maxim Kovtun, I know him as well. He's also very talented, but I think in the field of men, it's so strong. It's like before, it's like you had a quad, you would win, and now it's like you have a quad, it's hard to get in the top 10 as well. So I think that especially in the men's field of figure skating, it's becoming unbelievably strong.
I read an article, I don't know if it's true, and believe me, I'm not trying to spark any kind of controversy. When you were growing up to be a skater, not everyone in your family was supporting that.
Yeah.
How's it looking now? And if you can elaborate on that story, I mean, of course, if you can elaborate.
I can. Well, first, it's actually a huge twisting story, because when I first wanted to start the sport, my mom was like, no. And then my dad took me to the rink and immediately registered me for lessons, and I went home and gave my mom my lesson card. And then so my mom was bringing me to the rink. And once I reached the age of like 14, 15, my dad was like, yeah, you can continue the sport, but just don't compete internationally. Because, I mean, especially back then when I first started, you wouldn't see a female doing the sports and competing at a higher level. So, and then my dad was telling me, no, you can't compete and stuff. And of course, he's my dad, so I listened to him. And there was one small competition in Dubai, and I went there just to support my friends. And so I was there, and he saw that I was upset, and I wasn't the one like skating. I was just there supporting. And from that day, he looked at me and he's like, I guess it just clicked in his head that there's nothing wrong with his daughter doing sports. So he's like, from this day, you can do any sport you want. So, and my mom, during that time, she was so supportive, and she was coming. I was training at 4:30 in the morning before school, and she was always there. And after school, like literally, she wouldn't see my brothers. I mean, she was always with me. So it's a huge sacrifice for my whole family for me to be able to do the sport, but they're all extremely like supportive and proud, and I have 2 brothers, and they're all as well like really supportive, and I'm very thankful. I'm really, really thankful for my family, because without their support, I honestly don't think I would be sitting here today.
But I mean, in some way, it was a sort of a little fight for you, even with that.
Yeah.
To persuade your family that I have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
I will make history. I will change the world forever, which you did.
Yeah.
So you basically was having like a fight on 2 fronts.
I mean, it wasn't like a fight. It was just like like just between my mom and my dad. My dad was like, no. My mom was so supportive. At the beginning, she wasn't, but then she was so supportive, and until it just clicked, and everyone is just super supportive and very proud.
Well, right now, everyone's happy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my dad now, he's like, my dad and my mom, they're my biggest fans, and anytime he sees me, even sometimes when I fall at the rink, and he's like, yay, and I'm like, no, that was bad, that was not good. But they're really supportive, and yeah, so they opened up the club, and like it became a whole, like my whole family became part of the sport as well.
Do you feel this kind of support in your country? I mean, do people support you there?
Yeah.
Are there still no people saying like, hey, why is she doing figure skating? She should have done some other sport.
I mean, my country is very supportive, and I'm really thankful because they're supporting me 100%, and they also want me to be able to reach the Olympics and show the world that UAE can do it. And of course, I feel like no matter what you do in life, there's always going to be some people that are negative and telling you what you're doing is wrong. Majority, it's not from my own country, it's just coming from abroad, and it's just online. I've never had anyone come to my face and telling me what I'm doing is wrong. It's just stuff that are online and someone sitting behind a computer. So for me, it doesn't matter. I don't really look at that. And even my country, the leadership have told me, don't care about that, because your country is supporting you 100%. So that's all that matters.
One of the biggest supporters of your stuff is obviously Nike, who you are representing as an ambassador. The whole notion of making sports hijab came from you. Yeah. How does that cooperation go? I mean, how do you communicate with Nike? Was it like they just knocked on your door and said, you're an inspiration, we want to make hijabs because you changed the rules, you changed the world? How did that work out?
Yeah, well, I just got a phone call. I worked on another campaign before this, and it was basically showing the world about the Arab females. And that campaign went viral. It went all over the world, millions and millions of views. And that was unexpected. So from that, it came so much support for Muslim women. And then after that, I got a phone call from them, and they said, this is what we're trying to do. We want to do the Nike Pro Hijab, and we want you to be part of the process. So they brought in a designer from New York, and she actually came directly to the rink, and I was training. So she came there and she brought like all these materials and samples, and so when I saw it, I was like, this works for all sports. I was like, for figure skating, when I do my spins, it is impossible. It's gonna fly off, like it won't stay on. So she was like, just try it, just go on ice and just try it. So as soon as I wore it and I went on ice and actually stayed, and it was perfect. So yeah, I mean, I was just in the process of choosing the right material because there were so many options, and trying to see which material is best, and the fit, how the fit is. There were some issues, and we've tried to fix the fit, and just basically with the design of it. But I mean, to be part of that process was just unbelievable, and especially once, and I knew about it for a while, and I could not tell anyone about it, and that was the hardest part.
So you had to keep
I had to
yourself.
just like keep it in for a long time, but once it came out to the public, it was a proud moment. And because I mean, it's just like a small product. People wouldn't think it would make a big difference, but worldwide, it impacted so many Muslim girls. I got so many messages online from people saying, now my daughter can go and participate in this sport or that sport, and they saw that, okay, Nike is a huge brand, and they're also supporting us females. So why can't we do it? So
What is different about a sport hijab and the regular hijab? I mean, some kind of different material? So
the material, yeah, the material is different. It's more breathable and it's lighter, so you can do your sport and not feel so hot. And there's no weight to it. It's super light.
I think that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm really honored and appreciate our conversation, and I wish you luck and victories and
Thank
keep
you.
changing the world.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.